Have you ever wanted to control time? Rewind your life, fix that one embarrassing mistake, and see every possible future laid out in front of you? Well, you've probably seen this idea floating around the internet that if you could just get to a higher dimension, you could basically become a god. But is any of that even remotely true? Today, we're going to separate the sci-fi from the science.
Okay, you've got to remember that incredible scene from the movie Interstellar, right? Our hero, Cooper, he falls through a black hole, and he ends up in this, well, it's like a library of time. He's inside what's called the Tesseract, a four-dimensional cube, and he's looking out at his daughter's entire past, just spread out before him like infinite windows. He can see literally every moment, every memory. He's outside his own timeline, able to just look in. It's one of the most mind-bending scenes in all of cinema, and it makes you ask a huge question. Could we actually do that? Could we somehow step outside of our three-dimensional world and just watch time?
Well, this is where pop culture and the internet just run with it. There's this super popular idea that if you could just pop into the fourth or fifth or sixth dimension, you would get actual superpowers. You wouldn't just be an observer. No, you'd become a full-on time god with the power to shape reality itself. I mean, just think about the possibilities. You could rewind your life and relive all your best moments. You could go back and fix every single mistake you've ever made. Or you could jump forward and see all the possible futures branching out, just like Dr. Strange did when he looked at 14 million different outcomes to find the one single way to win. It sounds absolutely amazing, right? But here's where we have to slam on the brakes on this whole fantasy. As cool as all that sounds, we have to ask the big question: what does science actually say about what a dimension is? Okay, let's dive into this, because the reality is just as fascinating, I promise, but in a very, very different way. First off, we've got to get the definition right. So forget all the magic for a second and just think about simple geometry. Start with a single point, a dot. It has no length, no width, no height. You can't move anywhere. That is 0D. Now stretch that dot out into a line. Boom, you can now move forward and backward. That's 1D. Now take that line and pull it out sideways to make a square. You've just added left and right. That's 2D. And finally, pull that square upwards into a cube. You've now added up and down. That's 3D. Welcome to our world. So the most important thing to get is this. Scientifically, a dimension is just a direction you can move in. It's a degree of freedom. It's not some magical parallel universe you can just step into. We live in a 3D world because we can move forward and backward, left and right, and up and down. That's it. Okay, so for the whole time travel idea to work, our universe would need to be what some people call a block universe. Think of it like a DVD you bought from the store. The beginning, the middle, and the end, it all exists at the same time on the disc. You just need the remote to skip to any chapter you want. But here's the massive problem. Our best understanding of physics, quantum mechanics, tells us we probably live in a quantum universe. This is less like a finished movie and way more like a live broadcast. The future isn't already recorded. It's being written right now, and there's a lot of randomness built in. And you just can't rewind a live show. And, even if you could go back, you'd run into these huge, reality-breaking logical problems. The most famous one is the grandfather paradox. If you go back in time and stop your grandparents from ever meeting, well, then you would never have been born. But if you were never born, how could you have gone back in time to stop them in the first place? It's a loop that doesn't make sense, and it could literally break the cause and effect rules of the universe. All right, so right about now, you're probably thinking, okay, I get it, but I've definitely heard physicists talk about way more than 4 dimensions. And you are 100% right. This is where we get into one of the most brilliant and bizarre ideas in all of science, string theory. And this is where things get really weird. The most popular version of this idea, called superstring theory, actually predicts that the universe has 10 dimensions. So why 10? Well, to put it simply, the crazy complicated math that describes our universe, things like gravity and quantum physics,
It only works. It only makes sense if you add these 6 extra dimensions into the equations. They're like the missing puzzle pieces that make the whole picture come together.
But here is the biggest misconception of them all, the key difference between sci-fi and physics. These extra 6 dimensions, they are not giant alternate realities like in the movies. No, string theory suggests they are so incredibly tiny, curled up into a little ball smaller than a single atom, at every single point in space all around us. You are moving through them right now, and you just don't notice.
So what are they for? Well, according to string theory, everything in the entire universe, every little particle of light, every atom in your body, it isn't really a tiny dot. It's actually a tiny vibrating string of pure energy. And just like a guitar string can play different notes depending on how it vibrates, these little cosmic strings create different particles. An electron is one note, a photon of light is another. All the stuff in the universe is just music, being played on these tiny 10-dimensional strings.
So let's bring it all home. Can we tap into higher dimensions to become time gods? Well, the science says probably not. That dream of rewinding our lives and fixing our mistakes is a really powerful fantasy, but it's just not how reality seems to be built. But what science is telling us instead might be even more profound, even more magical. We might not be gods who can control the universe, but we are made of the universe's music. Every one of us a complex symphony of vibrating strings echoing across 10 hidden dimensions.
Now, this is just a theory. It's one of the most exciting and debated ideas in all of physics. But it leaves us with this stunning thought. We look out at the cosmos and we see stars and galaxies, but the deepest layer of reality might be a hidden world of tiny vibrating dimensions that make everything we see possible. So, what do you think? Are these extra dimensions real, or are they just a beautiful idea in an equation? The answer is still out there, just waiting for us to find it.